What's up, y'all? My name is Gavin Holsworth. I know most of you guys know me because most people that watch my channel are subscribed. But you know, I moved to Oklahoma about 3 years ago, and you know, I love to fish out here and everything. But I moved here from Bakersfield, California, and I started thinking about it. And there's a lot of places that I know of to fish in Bakersfield that some I have fished and some that I, of course, have not fished. Places that you probably shouldn't be fishing. I just know a lot of places to fish there that could be really useful to some people. So I'm gonna make a video about some really cool places to fish. Basically the Southern California Valley, Bakersfield, pretty much all around Bakersfield. You know, if I upset some people for giving away their spot, sorry. And of course, I have never fished any of these places. All risk is on you if you want to go to them. Like I said, I've never actually been there. I just have heard things. But enter at your own risk. Here it is. Alright, what's up guys? We're here on Google Maps. So obviously I live here in Oklahoma now. But I'm going to show you guys some pretty cool fishing places over in Bakersfield, California, kind of all around the valley. I know some pretty cool places also out in the ocean and also up in the hills, but you know, I'm going to stay in the valley because that's what this whole video is about. Alright, so here's Bakersfield. So for where we're going to start first is the Aqueduct, the California Aqueduct. So I'm pretty sure most of y'all know what that is, but this kind of video is for people that don't know too much. It's a giant canal. Just imagine that. It runs all the way up and down the central and southern California valley. So I'm going to start on the southern point, kind of closer to LA. LA is way down here, but basically where the valley ends. So basically, I like to fish. Alright, so basically there's this plant called the Sun Pacific plant, and I think they do citrus and stuff like that, but right here is a bridge, and I catch not so much striped bass, but channel catfish all throughout here next to this bridge. So basically, yeah, this is a pretty good place. You can just park on, you know, either side over here on this off of Old River Road. It's a pretty good place for catfish. I highly recommend that. Alright, the next place is going to be further upstream of the California Aqueduct. This is kind of where we're at. This is a big old plant, power plant generation, and you cannot fish up on this. You know, I wouldn't recommend sneaking in there. It's actually a really big punishment. But anyways, if you scroll all the way down here, there's a line somewhere. It's closer down here, but it'll be very obvious where that line is, and you can fish all the way up to that line. It's alright. I've caught a couple fish in there, not too many. You just gotta, honestly bro, people open and close gates all the time. You just gotta find out where to get in there. I recommend a truck or a Jeep. But anyways, moving up further, I believe the next one we're going to talk about is the golf course, and I'm sure tons of you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the golf course. So right here is the Buena Vista golf course, basically the park. Right across from that, there is a floodgate, and this is what's actually churning a lot of the water and pushing it downstream. You can park right here, right off of Golf Course Road, and yeah, you can just hop over the fence, and this is a really popular spot. So if you go here, super easy access, but tons of freaking people, man. You might have a hard time finding some places to fish. I remember always downstream of the gates. You can fish upstream, but it can be usually downstream. I have the best luck. Alright, the next spot. You can fish off of Tutman Road, and then up here. There's a lot of spots to branch off and fish all this. I've fished some of this. It's okay. But my personal favorite spot on the Aqueduct is really far north. Okay, so just north of Spicer City, there's this road called Main Drain Road. Of course, I've never been here, but this may or may not be a really good spot. Sometimes you have to go on some of their roads to get over here, but here's this canal. You follow this canal, and you can fish all this. There's actually fish in here, striper as well. But this is the branch off of the aqueduct, and there's a little kind of, I don't even know what this is, like a power plant or a water regulation plant. But yeah, I've actually caught striper right here, just flipping in there with hot dogs. It's a pretty good spot. I mean, I've actually seen some decent hunting in here too. Of course, I've never hunted it, but yeah. And this actually, you can follow this all the way down. You can fish all this. There's fish in here. These fish bleed off from the aqueduct, and you can fish all this right here. I've caught catfish down here. But yeah, and I have heard rumors of sturgeon coming this far south, so you can definitely run into those. Never seen one, but I've heard rumors. This is just south of Lost Hills. We're moving down here. Okay, just south of Tubman, basically. Totally not a controversial spot, but you basically want to see here, this is the lower Kern where it's all the dry bed. It kind of meets up with the Kern, or with the aqueduct. Fun fact, this doesn't happen very much because of the drought, but there's actually a water connection that'll happen here. And there can be, I know this for a fact, there can be striper that get into the Kern River, the lower Kern River, actually past Bakersfield. Anyways, this follows right up here. I'm going to show you something. Alright, and it comes right into Bakersfield. And there are some like water districts that connect together with canals. I'm going to take you right up here just past Stocktail Highway and right here. Of course, I never fished this location, but at the intersection of Westside Parkway and Allen, there's these really big, like, I think they're like aquifers or whatever. They're managed by the water district, and they're all fenced off. You can't get in here, and of course you shouldn't get in here. But definitely heard rumors of stripers getting in here when the water is really good, the drought isn't too bad, and bass and catfish and even koi. And of course, if I would never go in here, and I don't suggest anyone does. But hypothetically, if you did, there definitely wouldn't be a cut gate right at the end of Johnson Road. But anyways, that's just my input. Okay, and then next, this is all, the next few places I'm going to bring up are in-town places. These places are just, I'm not going to highlight them too much. They're just really common spots everyone should know about. But then again, if you're just beginning fishing, you probably don't know about this. The river walk, come over here right off of Stockdale Highway, right across from Era Park. Sorry about the noise. I know some people, most people know about this place, but I know there are some people that are just beginning fishing, but the river walk right here, it's right off of Stockdale Highway, and it bleeds in from the Kern River. You can actually fish this right here. I've actually seen some good bass in here, really good bass. And also, they stock this too during the winter, so check that out, just behind Target. Okay, next is they actually stock this as well, but I've caught tons of bass in here. Truxton, it's right off of Truxton Avenue. Like I said, everyone knows what this is, but you gotta give it a try. I've caught bass in here, like I said. I've caught like one trout in here before. They stock it. It's worth a try. But I have heard of people fishing the lower Kern on the backside when it gets full of water, and apparently there's some bass, and it can be fun. I also can catch bass over here. I fished this right on Coffee Road. Big bass in there when it's actually full. Now, I know I'm skipping a lot of places, guys, here, but you can actually fish a lot of this lower Kern. That kind of ends right here, but as you move up, you just got to kind of find roads that get back there, get access to it, but you can fish a lot of this stuff back here. Branch off on these roads, and I've seen people catch like 20-pound carp out of this, and there's even some trout that come down from the hills. Got to give that a try. Alright guys, so there's one more place inside Bakersfield city limits that I've heard of people catching monster fish. It's really surprising, but River Lakes. It's right off of Coffee and Olive Drive. Just so you know, you do need a fishing permit to fish there. But it's definitely worth a look if you can get a fishing permit. There's some decent sized fish in there. Hot dogs are the best way to go. And of course this is illegal and you should not do this, but there's some golf course ponds that I've definitely not heard of friends catching big fish out of as well, all around here. Alright, so another big place that's outside of city limits of Bakersfield is BV, and everyone knows what this is. This is Buena Vista Lake. It's right over here. It's southwest of Bakersfield, and it's right across from the same spot we talked about, across from the golf course Aqueduct fishing spot. But anyways, they stock this with trout, and so it can be a lot of fun. Always fish the small lake, especially if you're going for trout. That's the only place they actually stock them on this side. But I got a few things to say about this. During the summer, there are some little docks over here that are just packed full of panfish. A lot of fun fishing, catfish, all in this. There's some pretty big catfish that come out of this lake. There's 70-pounders in here, even some striper. But of course, it's really hard to access this backside. It's illegal to. But of course, hypothetically, I would not know this, but hypothetically, there totally isn't an access point back here with a broken gate. Of course, you know, I have never been back there. I've never been back there at night. But you know, just saying. Yeah, so that's BV. It can be really boring if there's no fish biting, so you be very particular where you go and how much time you spend there. You know, it doesn't hurt to move. I've seen the most productivity out of Lake Evans, the smaller one. Like I said, trout are pretty good when they're biting here. Alright, so this is probably some of my most favorite spots to fish, just because it's so much fun for how small bodies of water they are. Alright, so right over here off of 7th Standard in Santa Fe, there's a canal, and I believe this is legal to access. You just got to go through some of the side roads and you'll get to it. And this canal has several bridges on it, and during summer they're not as productive just because of the agriculture, the way the water moves. But during winter, there's actually fish that come down this canal, I believe from Lake Success, somewhere around there. But anyways, I've caught some pretty big bass in these canals, just little rubber worms. Definitely want to check that out. I've caught quite a few fish over here, many a fish. But there's actually one pond that I want to show you guys. Personally, for me, it's really productive. I've caught a lot of fish there. Okay, so right over here off of Lerdo Highway, there's a road called Cherry Avenue. Of course, I've never fished here. This is private property, and no one should ever fish here. But right over here on Cherry Avenue, next to this canal, if you move up here, there's a pond, and this thing always has bass in it. Just a rumor I've heard. I've actually never fished it. Wink, wink, wink. But yeah. And if you just hop around and try a lot of these little ponds and all these canals, I've caught fish in a decent amount of these. Of course, the public ones only. Okay, so this is the last spot I'm going to show y'all. It's kind of in a weird spot. You got to kind of work your way to get in here. But like I said, some of these canals, there's actually goldfish, bluegill, all kinds of cool fish you can fish in here. Always go check them out. A lot of driving to do, but there's fish in here, I promise you that. Alright, going to the other side of Bakersfield. This is the south east side of Bakersfield. Driveways out here, I know it's a drive. But this is actually off of like Tahone Highway and Tower Line Road and White Wolf Road. There is a pond right here, and it is just stocked full of, they're called like pumpkin seed fish. They're pretty cool looking. You also check it out. And just a reminder, it's been 3 years since I fished these spots, so it could definitely be bad information, but you know. Alright, the last tidbit of information I'm going to give y'all. This is pretty much all my spots I'm giving up. But if you go up here on the Kern River, and you just kind of just go up. It's not too far up here, but Hart Park and Lake Ming. Here's Lake Ming. I believe Hart Park's down here somewhere, yeah. Anyways, right here. Both of these spots, especially Hart Park, in my experience, easier to get to, but you just throw on a little bit of white bread on a big old hook, you'll catch some monster-sized carp. These lakes are a little bit finicky if you're going for, you know, more sensitive fish like bass and stuff like that, because there's so much pressure here. So many people fish these lakes. If there's trout, you know, go check them out, you know, but if it's not trout season, the only fish I find it's actually worth going and catching are big old carp, giant carp over here.